The loan officer asks you where you work. You tell her you don't. There is a pause on the line, a very specific length of pause, the pause of a person deciding if they misheard you. She tries again, gently, in case you are embarrassed. Are you between jobs? Do you own a business? Is there any money coming in from side work? None of it. She types something. You can hear the keys clacking. On her screen is an application for a 30-year loan on a 2-bedroom house in a town you've wanted to live in for 6 years. The payment would be $1,940 a month. Also on her screen, in the exact same file, is an account statement showing $1,174,000. She turns you down, not out of meanness, out of math. Banks approve loans by comparing what you owe each month against what you earn each month. And earning means a paycheck they can trace. W-2s, tax forms, proof that money shows up on a schedule. You have savings instead, which is a different word, and the software will not take it as a substitute. She calls back a week later with a workaround. There is a program where the bank takes what you have in the market, divides it by 360 months, and agrees to call the answer income. The interest rate is almost a full percentage point higher. You take it, and you take the lesson with it. The system does not measure what you own, it measures what you owe your Mondays to. And you are 40 years old, you are not sick, nobody died, you just will not have another job. You spend about $41,000 a year against $1.17 million. That is 3.5%, 3.5 cents out of every dollar you own, each year, to run your whole life. That is the entire argument, and it fits on the back of a receipt. The math that got you here is embarrassingly plain, which is why almost nobody does it. It is not about picking good investments, it is about the gap. You started at 24 making $61,000 a year. You finished at 40 making $148,000. Over those 16 years, you put in $750,000 of your own money, and the market added $424,000 on top of it. Your salary was never remarkable. What was remarkable was the distance between what came in and what you used. If you keep 10% of your take-home pay, you work 52 years. 20%, 37 years. 35%, 25 years. Half, 17 years. 65%, 11 years. The thing that decides when you get to stop is not the size of your paycheck. It is the space between what you make and what you spend. And every dollar in that space does 2 jobs at once. It adds to the pile, and it shrinks the pile you need. You cross the number on a Wednesday in March, and you told nobody. The first Tuesday is the strange one, not the last Friday. The last Friday feels like a long weekend, and long weekends are a shape you already know. It is the Tuesday after, at 10:40 in the morning, standing in your kitchen with coffee going cold in your hand when your body understands that nothing is going to happen. No meeting, no messages piling up behind a red dot. Everything that used to tell you what hour it was has been switched off, and what is left is an amount of time so large it does not feel like a gift. It feels like weather. You start going to the public library because it is free, warm, and opens at 9 o'clock. On weekday mornings, the building holds 4 kinds of people: retirees in their 70s, parents with toddlers, men carrying everything they own, and you. There's a man named Reuben there every morning, 77 years old, 31 years fixing county trucks. In the second week, he asks without looking up, "What happened to you?" Not, "What do you do?" What happened? When you tell him, he goes quiet, says, "Huh?" and turns the page. Later, he says the thing that stays with you. He got out at 65, and his knees got out at 58. There were 7 years in between where he was working a body that was already finished. The forms never stop. On your last day, the woman from HR had a list on her screen with 11 reasons a person leaves a company: better offer, moving away, money, going back to school, family. She read them out twice, patiently, and then picked personal reasons because it was the closest thing to a blank space the software allowed. After that, it is the new dentist, the new address, the jury duty form, the school volunteer sheet when your niece needs a chaperone. Every one of them has the same box. Occupation. Employer. You try self-employed, which invites a follow-up question you cannot answer. You try consultant, a lie shaped like a truth, and people accept it instantly, which teaches you how little anyone actually wants to hear. Eventually, you write retired, and the clerk looks at your face, then your date of birth, then your face again, and decides not to ask. Nobody has a word for a healthy 40-year-old who is done, so they invent one for you: inheritance, crypto, lawsuit, divorce, sold a company. Almost nobody guesses the true one, which is 16 years of a boring number. Des guesses wrong too. And Des sat 8 feet from you for 5 years. He's a director now, $310,000 a year, a team of 40, a job title that makes his profile look like a staircase. When you meet him for lunch, he says, "Must be nice," twice. And the second time, it is not a joke. Then he tells you, because people tell you things now that they would never tell a coworker, that he is stuck. His mortgage is $5,200 a month, 2 car payments, private school for 1 kid, and the second starting next year. He spends about $186,000 a year. After taxes, he brings home roughly $209,000, so he saves $23,000 of it. At 41, he has $390,000 invested. He is not bad with money. He has never had a month he could not cover. But run his numbers the way you ran yours? 25 times $186,000 is $4.65 million. That is what he needs before he can stop. You needed $1.25 million. He earns more than twice what you ever earned. And his finish line is 4.5 times further away. And it moved further away every single time he got promoted. He picks up the check. You let him. The rest of it you learn from institutions. And institutions are honest in a way people are not. Your income is now something you choose, not your wealth. Your wealth is fixed, sitting in a fund that owns a slice of the whole stock market. But the income number the government sees is a decision you make every December because you live by selling a few shares at a time. So you learn where the lines are drawn. That's when you sell something you have owned more than a year, the profit gets its own tax rate, and that rate can be 0. In 2026, a single person can have up to $49,450 of countable income and pay nothing on that profit. Add back the standard deduction, and you can cash in $65,550 of profit and owe the federal government 0. Then you learn the other line. Your health insurance is no longer attached to a job, so you buy it yourself, and the price is set by that same income number. Earn above 4 times the poverty line, which is $62,600 for one person, and the help does not shrink. It disappears, $1 over, and you pay full price. Sit with those 2 numbers. The tax code stops rewarding you at $65,550. The health system stops helping you at $62,600. They are $2,950 apart, and nobody designed them to sit next to each other. So you keep the income you report near $30,000. The mid-level plan the government uses to set prices in your county costs $585 a month. You pay $155 of it. The other $430 is covered for you, roughly $5,200 a year. You have $1.17 million. The nurse who took your blood pressure in March makes $71,000 and pays 4 times what you pay. You did not build that system. You just read it correctly. But you notice that you never bring it up at dinner. Then year 2 happens. The market gives you 6% and you relax a little, which is the mistake. The next year it takes 24% away. The year after that it takes another 9%. And the whole way down, you are still pulling out $41,000 a year, selling shares into the drop, because groceries do not pause for a bad market. 3 years in, the account holds $765,000. $409,000 gone. 10 years of everything you spend erased while you sat still. And the number that actually matters has moved. $41,000 out of $765,000 is 5.4%. You quit on 3.5%. You are now pulling out at a speed that, looking at the last century of markets, runs out of money about 1 time in 5. This is the part nobody photographs. There is no scene. You are in a library at 11 o'clock in the morning with a laptop, and the arithmetic on the screen says you may have been wrong by 8 years. A recruiter named Marisol calls in February. A contract job. 11 months. $185,000 a year. She has called 4 times in 3 years, and you have never called back. This time, you call back. You take it. You work 7 of the 11 months. You add $114,000 to the account. But more than that, you stop selling shares for 7 months while the market repairs itself. Somewhere in month 5, in a meeting about a product that will be canceled anyway, you finally understand the thing you had not been able to say out loud. You were not afraid of running out of money. You were afraid that if the number failed, everyone would find out you had been wrong in public. At 42, you finish the contract. You do not renew it. The market climbs back over the next 4 years the way it always has, without asking permission or announcing itself. And by 48, the account is past $1.4 million. There is 1 bill left, and you have already paid it. It just has not arrived yet. Social Security is calculated from your best 35 years of earnings. You worked 16. The other 19 are not skipped. They are counted as zeros, and they drag the average down. Your statement estimates about $2,140 a month at 67. Des, who will work until at least 62, is looking at about $3,538, a gap of roughly $18,300 a year, every year for the rest of your life, starting 25 years from now. You knew you bought 22 years with it. The years go quietly after that, which is the part that surprises you most. You expected drama, and you got Tuesdays, thousands of them. You learned to sail badly, you take care of your mother for 14 months when she cannot be left alone, without asking anyone for time off, without one conversation about who will cover your work. And those 14 months cost you nothing except money, which you have. At 54, Des gets laid off. The severance is generous, and the market for directors his age is not. It takes him 11 months to find something at $240,000. And he tells you on the phone in a voice you have not heard from him before that he ran his numbers during the gap, and the answer came back 68. He does not say 68 what. He does not have to. At 62, the friends you started with begin to stop. That is about when the average American stops working. Some by choice, and some because a body or a company decided for them. There are parties, there are cakes from the grocery store with the plastic dome still on. There are cards passed around in envelopes. You go to the parties. You are happy for them. You are also, by then, 22 years into the thing they are starting today, and you have learned not to say that out loud either. Here is what the money actually bought. Said plainly, one time, between 40 and 62, at about 260 weekday mornings a year, there are roughly 5,700 of them. That is the purchase. Not a boat, not a beach, 5,700 weekday mornings that belong to you, bought for $750,000 in deposits, and every upgraded version of yourself you decided not to pay for. Somewhere in year 19, you fill out a form at a hospital for a friend in a plastic chair under a television nobody's watching. Occupation, it says. Employer. You have had 20 years to think of a good answer, and you still do not have one. So, you write retired, and the clerk looks at your face, then your date of birth, then your face again, and decides not to ask. You stopped needing her to understand a long time ago. You still own the 2-bedroom. The interest rate on it is almost a full point higher than it should be for the entire life of the loan, because a piece of software could not find a category for a man with $1.17 million and no employer, and charged him for the confusion. You have paid that difference every month for 20 years, and never once resented it. There was no ceremony, and there was never any cake. There was a Wednesday in March, alone, when a number crossed a line and you told nobody. And the rest of your life started quietly, while everyone you knew kept doing the arithmetic that never finishes. If this video shifted your perspective on what money is actually for, hit subscribe. We are building a community of people who don't just pay bills, but master the architecture of their own freedom. I'll see you in the next one.